foundries can explode, the whole world can change. But if my orders stay the same, I stick to them.
Frankly, I'm reconsidering whether I want to make deliveries in a neighborhood where buildings suddenly explode. Look, we just need to go past...
Someone ought to give these angry fists a kind word and a biscuit. But that isn't going to be me.
Looks like the big metal bruiser has gone on permanent break. Maybe the fists are next.
We should probably look into what happened to the foundry, but maybe we'll just wait until the flames die down.
Lodge of the Society of Brilliance.
It is pleasurable to see you. Your intervention within the cult's underwater complex was a timely one. I am glad my carelessness did not cost the life of Duke Ravengard. That you also saved me was unexpected. My meeting with you led me to a most unsettling conclusion. That my kind had begun to exert influence through this cult of the Absolute. I felt illicit interference would not be conducive to this plane's survival. I sought out other infected individuals to ascertain the truth of my hypothesis. Unfortunately, I strayed too close. I was captured and transported to the prison in which you found me. There, I saw Gortash and his followers inflict cruelties far beyond any I witnessed in the Underdark. I am grateful that you were spared such a merciless fate. Such kinship is unnatural for two such as we are. Yet, I too feel some warmth at your presence. Your inclination to generosity is an admirable quality, one I wish to reciprocate. Blurg and I have consulted on the matter of your reward. We first thought to ask the denizens of the Underdark for their aid in fighting the cult. Alas, our influence there remains negligible. Instead, we have selected a series of items from the Society's vaults. Given my kind's involvement in creating this evil, it is only right that I do my part in helping you defeat it, or at least improving your odds.
Jealous of Blurg's towering.
Omeluum tells me I have you to thank for its safe return. We know the risks when we go out into the field, but to lose my friend in such a way would have been most disheartening. If there's any conclusion to be drawn from this, I think it's that Omeluum and I are safest back in the Underdark. Our research there must continue. We may not be able to fight on the front lines as you do, but we may yet do some good for those who call it home. We'll depart when this absolute army is defeated. I understand you are involved in the matter. I hope our gifts will provide you with some meaningful assistance in fighting the evil Omeluum uncovered. Do let us know how you get on. How do you pass through the city streets without exciting opprobrium?
I adopt the illusory appearance of someone else. You, for example. It is best I do not interfere further with events on the surface. I will return to my research. It has been neglected long enough.
So your escape from the Iron Throne was a narrow one?
Indeed. I find I now have an irrational fear of deep water.
Cursed to put my hands on everything.
Warning, plague risk, do not enter. This ship is under strict quarantine until further notice.
Inside.
To glory, or glorious death! Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes!
I'll save him, Boo, I promise!
Death greets us all. But not today.
the lesser warrior. Although that is a lot of blood.
What's in here? Bet that'll fit in my pack. Swift as my feet can carry me. If everyone else minds their business, I'll be fine. Wonder if the gods are watching me.
You've wandered into a forbidden area. You sense it might be time to leave. You managed to talk your way in. No easy feat.
Best be on my way. Better be cautious. If I do. On my way.
Forgive me, I have the most pounding of headaches. If you have any issues, one of my subordinates will see to you.
I should hope so. Certainly don't get paid.
I feel a lot safer now that I've seen that thing can die, just like anything else.
I don't like this. If something's capable of destroying even a Steel Watcher, what hope do the Fists have of protecting us?
Most important to Lord Gortat. Don't trouble yourself about the Watchers, all right? We're investigating it as we speak.
Can't say I'll miss those metal marionettes. It's hardly a free press if you're not free.
Whoever did this, I'd like to shake their hand. Did you hear how patronizing those Watchers were? Awful.
And what? Well, I'll have to come find you, Lirene.
Come to go get the busted Steel Watcher too? I feel kinda sorry for it.
I've never seen a Steel Watcher this messed up. Have you? Wonder what happened to it.
The cat seems reluctant to part from you.
Look at this thing, Duba. It's still kind of scary. Only not really.
I wouldn't touch that thing if you double drow dared me.
Mommy! Mommy! It's all right.
It is splendid to see you again, my friend. If you hadn't saved me from that mob, I'd be penning a guide to the afterlife based on first-hand experience. Perhaps you would hazard a guess as to why the mob turned on me? Pish-posh! That strutting tyrant has a long reach and a steel fist, but he's a puppy dog compared to the real horror that haunts our streets. The Lord of Murder has returned. As he did 100 years ago, Bhaal has set his accursed sights on Baldur's Gate. And his temple runs red with the blood of the innocent. Oren is his chosen. And like Sarevok before her, she is able to take on the savage form of the Slayer. If the Slayer is not stopped, it will slaughter every living thing in this city. As one of those things, I'm particularly eager to stop it. And there is a way. I have a study of the beast, penned by the wizard Irenicus himself. It contains all the knowledge needed to slay the Slayer. Now I just need a brave adventurer, willing to face Bhaal's chosen, and to put the knowledge into practice. Wonderful! I can scarcely think of anyone more suitable. It will serve you well. A study of the Slayer, penned by John Irenicus. It's one of a kind, so do try to keep it away from the inevitable bloodbath, The Dream Eater. It is said the children of Bhaal are claimed throughout their sleep, ever disturbed by visions of a life of bloodshed and terror. Once they have seen too much, once these dreams drive their minds to break, they are beset by the Slayer. It is a beast of unspeakable violence that consumes all in its path, including the soul of the one who is host to it. A genius, exiled from his home in the elven paradise of Soldanessala, when he attempted to seize the power of life itself, he instead turned his magnificent mind to murder on a grand scale. That is how he came to crave the power of the Bhaal spawn. He saw them not as living things, but as tools for his own machinations. In the end, though Irenicus took the form of the Slayer for himself, it was a Bhaal spawn who thwarted him, the same that saved Baldur's Gate. Quite so. I was rather hoping you'd gathered all the rest of the adventuring paraphernalia yourself. You'll need every advantage. I am a living witness to Bhaal's defeat those 100 years ago. So I know your battle against him is not futile. He can be stopped, but not all of those who stood against him survived. And those who did were never the same again. I wish you luck, my friend. And I hope that when I see you again, you'll be in one piece. 2 or 3 at most. Whatever happens next, be sure that I will document it all as accurately as possible.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
Scratch's tail wags enthusiastically. Scratch's tongue lolls out happily, his tail wagging even faster.
First you cleave my heart in twain, now you shatter it to pieces. My son a monster, twisted beyond recognition. To think my blood flows through those veins. Is this my fate? To be freed from Gortash's hell, only to be trapped in yours?
It isn't what you think. It never was.
You turned your back on me, on your city, to chase the she-devil and her power. She stinks up the place even now. It is exactly what I think.
Ravengard's tadpole clenches as your memories and wills flow into him.
My tears' wounds. I'm in your mind.
The Grand Duke sees Mizora and her infernal sisters. He sees the agony in Wyll's face as an impossible choice is set before him.
No. My son.
The past becomes present, and Wyll's thoughts are laid bare. Ravengard sees Wyll partnering with Mizora to defeat Tiamat's cultists before they could lay siege to Baldur's Gate, and he sees everything beyond. The Nautiloid journey, the perilous path to Moonrise, the astral prison, and the Emperor within.
Well,
everything I did for Baldur's Gate. I did for you.
My son, you sold your soul to save Baldur's Gate, and I cast you out for it. You gave yourself to the Hell's eternal fires so I might walk free. By the gods, can you ever forgive me?
There's nothing to forgive. You wanted to protect the city. I only ever wanted the same.
You are a better man than most, and a better son than I deserve. I'll yet make amends, but my duty is first and foremost to the city and its people. There's something I must ask of you. Before I was captured, I was on a mission. Returning from Elturel, I discovered the plans of the Absolutists. I immediately realized the city couldn't defend itself against such an army. I didn't despair, because the city has a secret guardian, a worm that sleeps beneath. He can be called upon in times of great need. This is such a time. You've been trained in the ways of the great champions and proven to be one of them. The worm will answer your call. You must seek him out. A bronze dragon, yes. He sleeps beneath us even now, awaiting a hero to rouse him. The worm goes by many names. Ansur, the waiting storm, the heart of the gate. He promised Baldur he'd protect the city if ever its existence was threatened, but just the once. Since then, the city has faced countless threats, but we always overcame. There was never a need to call on the worm. Until now, the Absolute is the greatest threat Baldur's Gate ever faced. The worm must be awakened, and the task falls to you. Take this. The legend of Ansur. An ancient epic. Ill-remembered. Dismissed as a mere tale. Let it set the path before you. Thank you. And may the city know the truth of my only son. Pride of Ravengard. Pride of Baldur's Gate.
We'll finish what my father couldn't. We'll awaken Ansur, the heart of the gate. O Baldur, founder due veneration. His guardian dragon Ansur, tremendous in worth. A savior below, our eternal elation. It's not just a tale, it's a history. Consider this. To Wormway 'neath prison's deepest level. That must mean Worm's rock prison. That's where we'll find the entrance to this Wormway. Then this. With the shock of a true hero's spark flickers, the torches alight, and Worm's eye shall awake a glitter. To open the way, we'll need to spark torches. This dragon Ansur was Baldur's ally. We'd be fools to let him sleep while the Dead Three's chosen raised the city. It's complicated. There's the joy of reconciliation, the relief of forgiveness, and the anxiety of new expectation. It's a flurry of emotion. I'm not sure how to make sense of it. Joy. To my father, I was only ever a boy. Incredible that he can see the man I became. Once all this is ended, once we've crushed the brain and freed the people, I could once more call Baldur's Gate home. Whether I return there, well, only time will tell.
I bet you're pleased with yourself. Saving Ravengard and making a fool out of me in a single swoop. Go on, do your gloating. You've earned it.
Damn right I did. My father is safe and my chains are broken.
Yes, celebrate your fortunes. But remember that they are lost as quickly as they are gained. For now, you've tipped the scales in your favor. But all it takes is a whisper for me to tip them back. Ravengard will fall. I will strike when the Duke has the most to lose, and I have the most to gain. Clause A, Section 2. Should Soul Holder choose to abandon his patron, he is freed from his duty. His father, Grand Duke Ulder Ravengard, will be thus fated to die by an enemy's hand. A sealed pact is mightier than even Asmodeus's ruby rod. Do you think by merely saving a duke that you were ripping it through? You're such a witless little thing. Laugh in the face of the Archduchess Zariel, and she only laughs back. By all means. Struggle and seethe when I come for Zariel's prize. Play the hero. Put up a fight. But don't forget who signed away his own father's life when Ravengard's finally bled. I'm afraid that's not an option. I'm quite stubborn, you see. Take a swing or a stab if you want, but I'll just slip away for a breather. One of the perks of being a half-devil, of course.
The Absolute's voice is gone, but I still hear its echoes. Reflections of reflections. While the Absolute commanded my mind, I condemned her to death and confined her in Worm's Rock prison. She stood by me even as the hell's fires lapped at my feet. You must free her. Tremendous news. She proves as loyal to you as she is to me. I couldn't bear it if she died by my command. May the Triad guide her steps. I was returning from Elturel. My traveling party stopped at an inn, Joaquin's Rest, to lay our heads. It wasn't the heat that woke me. It was the scent. Cultists had set fire to the place. I don't remember being taken. Just the smoke burning my throat before I fell. I awoke in Moonrise Towers, inside one of those damnable pods. The rest, well, the rest goes without saying. A complicated one. I went to greet Elturel's High Overseer, only for the Archdevil Zariel to drag the city into the hells. I've been touched by Avernus, been a plaything for demons. A tale for other places, other days. It is no legend. Ansar does sleep beneath the rock and will come to the city's aid when it is in need. He is oath-bound to do so.
Jaheira, Boo is trying his best to explain, but I still do not understand your anger.
Do not hide behind your hamster, Ranger. You do not understand because you do not listen. We were the first to discover the cult. And if you had only waited, we might have marshaled our numbers and...
Good does not wait for evil to button up its breeches. When it offers buttocks for the smacking, Minsc and Boo greet cheek with hand. It is well that Boo's innocent ears still ring from all this shouting.
This mess falls on our heads, Minsc. The city under siege, its people poisoned by the cult. It all might have been avoided if you had just put your feelings aside and listened. I have seen too much to believe destiny has taken our side. Blind luck, perhaps. The point remains. You meant well, Minsc. But you exposed the city to harm. You helped the cult spread. And worse, perhaps than any of this, you forced me to leave you behind.
But this is where Minsc falls short of the understanding, Jaheira. What else is a berserker for, if not to charge into danger ahead of his Wicklaren?
The Wicklaren, wise women of Rashomon, each bonded to a berserker bodyguard for life. There is no higher title nor deeper bond in all of Rashomon custom.
Wicklaren? Minsc, I am not your witch. You are not my bodyguard. This is not some high lodge of your homeland.
Boo agrees you're a queer kind of witch. But this city is a queer place. And Minsc, you may have noticed, is sometimes strange himself. The titles matter not. Only this. When Minsc does as Minsc does, and charges in to make a mess, Jaheira does as Jaheira does, and finds a way to save us all anyway.
Oh, I fight alongside fools.
You hear that, Boo? We fight alongside our Lirene again.
I am your friend, Ranger. I am not your witch. There will be no ointments or healing balms.
Not even for Boo?
Can't slow down.
Yes? Ask it. Oh dear. Should I brace myself for some fashion advice? But I suppose you have earned better than glibness from me. It was a gift from my husband Khalid. He was a harper. A better one than me, truth be told. Any idiot can swing a sword, but to believe in the cause with the whole of your heart, a much trickier thing. He died. Alone. In pain. And far too young. Murdered by a mage who craved immortality. I'll not grant it by naming him in the same breath as my husband.
The quiet, unassuming shadow to Jaheira's strength, Khalid was another warrior who helped end the Bhaalspawn crisis. Shortly after, he was murdered by the mad mage John Irenicus.
Nothing that wasn't already there. Fear not. But I've lived many lifetimes since Khalid died. You, twine your life around the people you love. And when they are gone, you grow around their absence instead. It is just another way they shape you. Which is my sage way of saying, I am in no danger of forgetting how my husband died. But I choose to remember how he lived. I've never known a warrior to go so far out of his way to avoid a fight, which meant the few he chose, most harpers swagger and flash their feathers to catch your attention. Khalid was quiet to a fault. And when we were married, on an upturned cart in the rainy Dalelands, he stammered so much. I'd never been sure if our vows actually counted. Oh, I'm sure time and an aging mind has smoothed out a few of his flaws. But he was a good man. The songs make much of Khalid's meekness. The quiet little harper who had to keep a tight hold on his courage, but he had it when it counted. And more than that, he had compassion. When you live a harper's life, see all that a harper sees, that is by far the harder thing to hold on to. But a bard can tell you all the rest. As for all the things they cannot, well, I shall just have to keep those for myself.
A little rest to brush the road from Boo's fur, and then back to our adventuring. Minsc is an open book. with many pretty pictures. We have. Is it not wonderful? There is no need for sweet words between companions such as we. Too often those are the weapons of flatterers and frauds. But she who will beat you about the head with the cold and pointy truth, that is a true Lirene. A hero is only as good as the friends they have at their back. This is why Boo favors this spot just above my buttocks. Do you come to speak of the last time Minsc stood watch? The snoring, it was Boo. Minsc is an open book, with many pretty pictures. Oh, my friend. There is much more to know of Minsc's homeland than he could ever put into words. Boo might fare better, but his home is far stranger again. Well, in many ways, it is the very opposite of this city. The far side of Faerun, with empty plains, white forests, and peaks that pierce the very belly of the sky. But it is like the city too. Here, it is loud with the daily wailing of people. In Rasheman, it is also loud, if you know where to listen. The Telthors, guardian spirits of every root, rock, and tree. Here in the Sleeping Lands, they are silent, but in the far north, they know how to speak still. Because it is slow and stupid and sleeping. Boo says Minsc should phrase this in a kinder fashion. Telthors are the living soul of the land. They flit about, offering petty blessings to those who show respect, or playing tricks on those who do not. This is so in Rasheman, but not beyond her borders. Here the spirits sleep, and perhaps we ought to be glad of this. In Rasheman, a Telthor is wind and snow and soil. In Baldur's Gate, it would be stink and stain and a far less pleasant type of soil. If my meaning is not clear, just check under your boot. The first time, my Dajema, a warrior's quest of proving. Minsc quickly proved that quests do not always go as the stories say. After wandering a ways and some savings of the Sword Coast, Minsc returned to Rasheman to find a welcome fit for hamsters and heroes. The Iron Lord himself came to bear witness to Boo. Minsc of Rasheman, said he, your Dajema is done. Minsc politely disagreed. Daina here was dead, and so his Dajema could never be done. Then swear your service to me, Minsc of Rasheman, said he. Serve your land as your lord's chosen champion. Minsc politely disagreed. It was a little awkward, but he had already sworn his service to Boo. Minsc of Rasheman, said he. You insult your Iron Lord. We will settle this matter in the circle of combat. It was only polite for Minsc to agree. After they carried the Iron Lord away, the Council of Witches gave Minsc a pack of provisions and said it would be best if he continued his adventures for a time. Yes, Boo, that was before we were stone. Perhaps we are due a little homecoming when all of this is done, no?
This altar isn't dedicated to a single god, but instead acts as a conduit to many. Your god is one of many, and in this place you sense a spark of its mighty divine flame. As a cleric, you may sacrifice wealth to your deity and expect to receive a boon. Your soul opens to their divine power. Walker, you are blessed by Mielikki, and even here among the stones of the city, you smell the fragrance of the forest and feel moss beneath your feet.
Well, well. The very unlikely hero of our latest gazette. Don't let the fame go to your head now.
You're in the broadsheet. Want a copy? It's all yours.
Let's see what this does.
Lord Gortash is going to destroy me. I swear, you'll rue the day you crossed Edvard Needle.
You're that hero type from the Gazette. Good stuff. Could do with more folk like you. Surprised the Boulder's mouth didn't mention how chatty you were. I thought you hero types were all high and mighty.
Besides, it's better than another fluff piece about the gate's nobility.
Oh my. I read all about you in the Gazette. Very impressive.
Real excitement in the Gazette this morning, Kate.
Say, I thought I recognized you from somewhere. Never seen the mouth give such a glowing write-up. Good for you.
Well, they were in the Gazette. Saw the pictures and everything.
You're right. Apparently.
Normally, the Boulder's Mouth illustrators capture people perfectly. But they didn't do you justice. Wow.
Listen, mate. I'm honored, but ain't you got better things to do than chatter with me? You know, big heroics. Newsworthy stuff.
New heroes grace Baldur's Gate with their presence. They say, oi oi, if it ain't the stars of today's edition.
Afraid I can't give you the Gazette for free, but you can have it for a low, low price.
Pleasure doing beeswax with a proper heroical type.
I don't care which necromancer they've killed. It's taking up too many pages.
What's in this edition? More absolute scaremongering?
A positive headline about a group of adventurers, no less.
Adventurers? Necromancers? Cults? The Gazette can blow all the smoke up you that it likes. Don't mean I have to care.
If it isn't the Gazette's favourite hero, as you were.
Boy, you're that heroic type from the latest Baldur's Mouth edition.
Why did you
Nice reading about something positive for once.
I couldn't take standing in that godforsaken line.
Saw you in the broadsheet. Makes a change from them fawning over Lord Gortash.
And they'd probably chuck you in the river if you did.
Said it first. New heroes race Baldur's Gate with their... Oh, look. Today's star. Everyone else might think the sun shines out of your hole, but I don't care. Gazette's gold, same as always. There you go, hero. Don't let the fame go to your head. If it gets any fatter, it'll explode.
Like you coming about our streets, we're safe as can be.
I'm a gentleman.
Promise.
I know that face. You're the one from the Gazette. A real hero. Thought you'd be taller, though. Look, you might be a big shot in the broadsheets now, but doesn't mean you can keep interrupting us normal folk.
My new friend. Forgive me. My name is Mohan. I'm a consultant of sorts. Whenever someone worth knowing needs something worth having, there I am. And I have a good feeling about you. Godspeed, and come back whenever you need something.